This is the Building Walls podcast, episode 61, recorded December 1st, 2021. Robotic chicken wings. I am the podcast.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
This is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, this is Val, you switched on me. This is my wife, this is my sister. They switched on me.
The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
Mr. President, can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive away?
No,
since
you
it's
can't.
So important?
Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it. Okay, hang on.
A majority of Americans, and forgive me, I'm just the messenger, no longer consider you to be competent, focused, or effective in the job.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Unique New York. Red River, Yellow River. Red River, Yellow River.
And welcome to the Building Walls podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Building Walls podcast. We'll do it live. Hey,
We are live.
We are live. Is this? I just noticed. Is this light in my background too much? Because I put a dimmer switch on my wall. But is that light a little overbearing? Does it make me look like Jesus this Christmas season?
No, it doesn't look bad to me.
Light shining upon me.
It is the reason for the season. The reason for the season, my man. So hey,
This should be good.
Happy Thanksgiving. We passed that. We didn't do an episode last week because of Thanksgiving, but we are here now. It is actually we're recording this on the 1st of December. So can you believe it? Get out that Advent calendar, baby. We got 25 days to Christmas.
Dude, this is amazing. I have really good news for you guys right now.
Tell me.
I have confirmed that you can get sick from something else other than COVID. It's confirmed. Everyone in my neighborhood got sick, got COVID tested. Everyone test negative. We all got the sniffles. We don't have COVID, and we're sick. It's amazing. I didn't think it was possible.
But, if you go to the hospital, you've got COVID, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's probably the new variant.
It's got to be Omicron or Omicron or
How do you
whatever
say
it is. I don't know. Let's ask
Omicron?
Uncle Joe.
I think it's Omicron. Omicron, I think.
See, I thought it was, but then I started seeing some other stuff
No, it's Omicron.
online. Because everything you see online is true.
Omicron is the pronunciation.
So who are these people online saying it's Omicron? Or Omnicron?
I thought it was Unicron from the Transformers. He's going to eat the whole planet.
That's, I think, what people are stretching it to a little bit, yeah.
I mean,
Unicron.
It's so funny. I was doing a little research on some of this. That how many more times are we gonna come up with a variant of this and act like it's the end of the world all over again? Because there's different strains of influenza, which this is also a type of coronavirus, flu type like virus. Influenza A, which is one of the strains. I think there's A, B, C, D. Influenza A itself has over 130 variants alone.
You're pulling that information from the CDC, right?
Yeah,
you didn't get that off of the Walmart website, or like.
Can we actually believe the
thing?
CDC? I don't know.
Can we? I mean, we should.
Well, based on if people are going to believe everything else they say about COVID, in this case, it's a pretty reliable source.
Yeah, I think you make a strong argument there, my man. But, what's interesting is when the reports of this new strain came out, this new variant, the doctor in South Africa who found it even came on and did an interview that said, yeah, all the symptoms are mild.
Yeah.
So you know what? I don't even want to hear about another variant unless the variant means that everyone's going to die. Everyone's dying. You get this now, you're going to die. Then you should tell me. If it's outside, if you're going to get sick, I don't care. People get sick. People have been getting sick since the beginning of damn time. Why are we talking about this?
What movie is that from? He says something. He's like, if you do this, you will die. And it's so just like novel. I can't think of the movie. Oh man.
I don't know. All I can think of is The Hangover with Chang when he's like, but did you die?
And that's how we need to throw together like a video or find a video online of that. But did you die? This is how. Well, it's like tropical storms and stuff, right? Usually they start at the letter A in the alphabet, then they go down to Z, and then they start mixing it up. So we know of COVID. So there was a alpha variant or whatever you want to call it. And then there was a Delta variant. And now we've skipped all the way to O. What happened to everything in between? Where's all these other variants?
Why do I feel like the next clip that we're about to play is a little too on the spot because we skipped them because we didn't want any backlash from China, right? We didn't want to upset them. And so I feel like they would say, go ahead, play that clip.
Do we have a clip for that, you say?
Yeah.
Which one? The
But did you die? You just said you had it.
I'm so
You literally
stupid.
just posted
I am so dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we need a soundboard with this.
I don't know. Come feel my balls and tell me. I've been locked in a fucking icebox all day. Hey, Alan, you want my awesome sunglasses? You just asked Chow. You don't have to kill me.
Chow, nobody killed you. You were already dead. You didn't have a pulse.
Oh, you never do blow before? Sometime your heart start up again. Read a book.
Look, I'm sorry. We're just having a bad day.
Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
Chow.
Oh, man.
No, but did you die?
It's such a classic.
I mean, we can't name it new. We can't name it Z or GXI. Why? Well, because did you die? No, we're not going to die. But you know what? A lot of people have died from corona. So
They have. It's nothing to make light of, right? For sure. But is it? A lot of people die from a lot of things. Not to, again, make light of that either.
yeah, it's definitely.
I mean,
if we want to watch like Lion King and learn about the circle of life again, we can. It's kind of how it goes.
right? What about all your cousins and relatives and everyone that you know that has cancer or heart disease? I mean, those are pretty serious things. Like, people don't recover from those things. Yeah, so here's something I need to look more into. I was trying to get some of this information. I wasn't really able to get a sure thing on it, but I'm confused, and I'm wondering why not more people talk about the monoclonal antibodies. And I have a feeling that it's not available in some states. Like, there's rules against it somewhere, because you go to Florida, you say you have COVID, they're like, yeah, go to the ER room, get the monoclonal antibody treatment, which hasn't been known to kill anyone, because if it has, they would be talking about it everywhere. And then my question to that is, why aren't they talking about it more? Because this type of treatment has been around for over 30 years.
And why isn't the World Health Organization talking about it? This is, the governing body, right? That is supposed to, have oversight and help with the world things. And we're supposed to have treatments for these things, these viral infections, and they just don't seem to be very forthcoming with anything. And honestly, Chad, how are we supposed to be trusting anything that they say for real when they're the ones who, I mean, for the love of God, they're the ones that are afraid of the China backlash. So how are they going to do any investigation that we can trust them as any source of information? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, you had Fauci came out and what was the statement he said? Like, I am science regarding this.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
So, I mean, just
for real.
Think about if we came out and we're like, you know what? I know there's a lot of people out there who do a podcast, but you know what? We are podcasting.
Yeah. Don't listen to Joe Rogan.
Yeah. We got it down. We're your
Joe
number
Rogan
one
who?
source. Right. People learn how to podcast from us. You would look at me and be like, you're an idiot, right? Just like Fauci. I am science.
All I could think about, dude, was Star Wars. When Palpatine was like, I am the Senate. Then it's treason. You know, like, dude,
yeah, that's
great.
great.
Are we actually living out a Disney movie? Like, what is going on? This guy's up there and he's like, you can't come after, like, science is too general. So they put a name to it. They put a face to it. I am science. Oh, okay.
And you talked about this. You talked about this great last week. There's a hypothesis, and then science is continuing to recheck these things to continue to either validate or disprove whatever your theory and hypothesis is. That's why so much stuff in the science world is peer reviewed, right? And they always say, hey, you know, you go to a doctor's office, hey, this is what I think that you have, but I want you to go get a second opinion.
Right.
Fauci says, no, I'm
No,
science.
you don't need a second opinion. I am the science. I am the science. I mean, I'm waiting for it to be like the new TV show, like streaming in 2022. Fauci, I am the science. Oh, yay. That's terrifying. And actually, Chad, the more terrifying part is that there are people who are like, yeah, that's right. He is the science.
Right.
If everybody collectively did not just go, my man just claims that he's all a science and that we're just going to listen to him. An unelected official. But nobody voted for that guy. No one.
Right. Yet we all take orders from him. I would just listen to something because we've talked quite a bit about mandates and taking orders and how it's illegal. I just listened to some talk radio earlier. This guy was on there. I think it was the latter part of the Hannity show for Sirius XM. And he was talking about how there's nothing constitutional. I didn't catch the start of it, so I don't know if he's a lawyer or who exactly he is. But there's nothing constitutional about the mandates. And now that they're starting to get some pushback on them, there's a reason that no one in the House or the Senate are bringing this to the floor, because no one's going to vote to push this through to make a law or a statute. There's zero statutes regarding the president or the administration to come down and make any of these mandates. Like, no matter where you're at, local, federal, wherever, there's no statutes or constitutional rights they have to make a mandate for you to wear a mask or to have that power. And I guess they were skimming through all these other acts like the Public Health and Safety Act and trying to find any information they could to say, oh, okay, this is why we have power now. And they couldn't find it. There was nothing in any act that's ever been passed. Yeah, because that's a direct assault on freedom. And you know what? That's what we need to actually do. We need to change. We need to get somebody. We need Rand Paul to get up there and look at Fauci. And when Fauci goes, I am science, he goes, yeah, and I'm freedom.
So why don't you suck it and take your mandates down the road, because they belong in China. They don't belong here.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I love Rand Paul's fantastic, who actually is a doctor and did
He actually
practice
is a
medicine.
doctor, yeah.
And I think still does in some regard.
He's literally the one senator who is the most qualified.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa.
And a shake.
Timeout.
Oh,
Timeout.
you got a
Time out.
shake
Look,
too?
I got
Hold
a
on.
shake.
All right.
Mm.
We got a what's this
Yes,
called?
sir.
Not an intersection.
We got to
Intermission.
interject in here. This is
Intermission
important
here.
here. This is very
All right.
important.
This is it. We were talking
I
about
am
this.
the Arby's.
Arby's boneless wing review.
Yep, we got to talk about these.
Right.
Cut December 1st at 8:26 p.m. is when this is recorded.
All right.
So, which wings did you get, Dayton?
So I believe
He doesn't
that
like
these-
spicy, so he only got the buffalo. He didn't do the hot.
I got the
honey.
buffalo. I didn't do the hot honey. Yeah. I just did regular. Whoa.
All right, so
Mm.
this kind of leads back to, let's kind of build up to this, right? So Arby's, the company, the restaurant group that owns Arby's, bought out Buffalo Wild Wings a couple years ago, and now Arby's has boneless wings. So we love Buffalo Wild Wings here,
Mm-hmm.
not because they have the most immaculate chicken wings, but because their sauces and the experience of going to Buffalo Wild Wings is second to none. So take a bite. Let me know how they taste.
Hey, sweetheart, can I get a fork?
Dude, just use those.
I don't want to
Use the man paws. Just get in there.
I got me a
No.
fork too. Mine came with a little
not.
plastic fork, so.
I didn't get one in my bag here.
Oh, they
Oh.
didn't give you one. They
Thank you.
cheated you of your fork.
They did. Okay.
So
here we go.
have you had the buffalo sauce from Buffalo Wild Wings? I mean, all buffalo sauce kind of tastes the same.
I have had it personally.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm interested in whether or not this is like. First of all, it presents exactly like Buffalo Wild Wings.
100%. It looks like a Buffalo Wild Wings plate. Like,
It
look at this.
it literally looks like an
That's
yep.
that is what it looks like.
That's awesome.
So you're trying the buffalo, right?
I'm opening up.
We got
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm opening up
Producers
my ranch,
on the hot honey.
Yep.
but like right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that. So good.
Let's see. Yeah, you can see this looks just like Buffalo Wild Wings.
I
Okay.
think you were first holding that up there like my grandma when she's on a FaceTime and you can only see her forehead.
I mean, I was holding it up there more like Simba getting ready to do the Simba Circle of Life again. You know,
I do have ranch sauce sitting here, but I wanna try it plain. You gotta try it, just see how it is, right?
just plain. I can't dip it first.
No, you gotta try it. You can try the first. Just try the first bite
Okay.
plain. See how that is plain.
Okay.
See how it compares to Buffalo Wild Wings.
I mean, it looks like a similar type nugget.
Is
It
it?
is. It's got some aroma. It's got some definitely some spice here. I'm wide awake. Whew, yeah,
Whew.
I'm
like
feeling like
sniffing
this
salts.
is going to be more like.
I
It's
felt
literally
that
I
in
think
my
going to be
throat.
more like medium, which is a lot hot for me. So thank God I have this shake here.
Yeah.
All right,
So you know,
put it in your mouth. Let's see it.
we're going to do a Dave Portnoy. One bite. Everybody knows the rules.
Yeah.
Shout out to Barstool Sports. Okay.
Speaking of that, did you see how Portnoy was the left-wing mob tried to come after him for like sexual assault allegations?
Woo! Hold on, man.
Oh my goodness.
Woo!
The hot honey is not that hot. The hot honey is not that hot. There's a little bit of spice to it, but it's not like burning your face off hot. I'm gonna try the buffalo one because I got those here too. Let me see how that is. See if that one's hotter.
Yeah, that's got some spice, bro. That's medium. That is Buffalo Wild Wings medium sauce.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
That's exactly what it is.
the buffalo is definitely hotter than the hot honey. I will say.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I got screwed on
That's
this. I tried to get
fantastic.
the lighter of the two.
Oh, put it in your mouth. Oh yeah.
Tastes so good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
And I would say there's a lot of sauce here. There's definitely a lot of sauce going on,
Oh yeah.
which
Sounds
is different than
disgusting
Buffalo Wild
listening
Wings.
to you
It
guys
usually
eating
makes
wings.
baked in here.
This is absolutely disgusting.
What? Watching us
Listening to you
eat?
guys just eat wings. Dayton's just moaning.
Ugh. Mm.
This is all live. I like it.
It is so good. It's so good.
All right. I mean, how are they? Like, are they good? How would you rank them?
Oh,
Would you rank them? They similar to Bdubs?
They're exactly Bdubs.
they're 100%. They're exactly Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's the same thing.
I'm so jealous that an Arby's isn't closer to me because I'm not driving 45 minutes just to get Arby's. I like
Well, how
Arby's, but
close
it's not worth a 45-minute drive.
That's
No, not at all. This is literally boneless wings from.
So you would,
Yeah,
you would recommend?
Oh yeah. If you want a quick Buffalo Wild Wings experience, you don't want to wait for it. Yeah, this is the same flavor.
I love a quickie. I love a
You want to
quickie.
go drive through Bdubs? It's also known as Arby's.
Drive through Bdubs.
And Chad, don't be saying you love a quickie with your wife around. That's not a good idea.
No, I don't know where she is.
That's good.
All right, this is my last one. All right.
That's very good.
Okay.
I don't know. I have to see if my wife wants to try some of these because I don't want to like eat them all if she does.
All right, so as we continue on here,
let's get
did you
back
see
to the show.
about did you see about Portnoy and those whole sexual assault allegations coming from the left-wing mob? Which
Yeah, it was basically a hit job. They were trying to get him on some funky stuff.
yeah, so there's a lot of people in our media who, and even in this administration, they see something, they see a story, they hear a story, they're even reporting the facts on the story. And then at some point, there's just a major disconnect. So the facts on the stories that were reported was he was chatting with this girl online. This is one of the stories, I think, of someone who came up for came out for an interview. And he flew her out to his place in the Hamptons, I think. And then through their text messages too, he was very explicit in what they would be partaking in if she came out. And then she goes there, right? She gets on the plane. She goes to his place and they do those things. And then the leftist mob is coming after him. Why? Because he's gone after them. Where is the disconnect when they report on the story? She's telling the story of what she did. You don't go out to see someone like that. You don't meet up with someone like that. And then it happens, and then you say it's sexual assault. What did you think was going to happen? Like this isn't even compared to a woman walking down a street and she gets jumped and she gets raped. Like,
yeah, that's totally different. That's not the same league, man.
Right. She wasn't approaching that guy to meet up with him. But in this scenario, she jumped on a plane to meet up and go to his house in the Hamptons. Why? Because she wants to be famous. His name is David Portnoy. One bite, everyone knows the rules.
El Presidente.
The leftist mob is wild with this stuff. Maybe this should just be the rant. I don't know.
It should be. In fact, just roll with it.
I'm just going to continue on. This is
good.
This is the
because
rant.
my mouth is on fire.
Yeah, I know. I see it over there. But again, how many times are we going to see things like this that are so blown out of proportion? And what are the different things you saw, right? Oh, he's a rich white male. That's how he gets to do things and gets away with stuff like this. We need to empower women. No, you want to know how you empower women? If you don't want to be involved in something like that, don't get on the plane. Because if I'm a father raising that daughter, I'm saying, honey, this is what's going to happen. If you want to do these things, face the consequences. But just know what you're going to get into. Because I don't think you should do it. But if you're going to do it, don't go crying back to me and your mom saying that you don't like what happened. She had every moment to not do that and did it anyway. They're so stupid. Just like Chris Cuomo finally gets suspended from CNN after they knew in May. Jeff Zucker, who runs CNN, knew in May what Chris Cuomo had done. And then he said, oh, it was the text messages that I saw, according to a New York Post column, that was finally the straw that broke the camel's back. It was because I saw those texts. You knew what he was doing before. Get out of here with that. They literally, they tell you the truth, and then all of a sudden there's a disconnect. They tell you the facts, rather. And then all of a sudden it's, yeah, but, you know, it's Governor Cuomo. It's Chris Cuomo. Oh, he was trying to help his brother. And I don't know about you, but I don't agree with the fact that people like Hannity are coming out and trying to defend him, saying that, you know, well, he was trying to help family, this, that, and the other. Just because it's family doesn't make the circumstances different. It just makes it family. So at what point do people on the left sit back? And to be honest, I keep on asking that as a rhetorical question. I think that point's coming because as we've already talked about, people are pushing back against the mandates because they know that it's a bunch of crap. They know that it's illegal. They know there's no statute saying that the administration has the power to do stuff like that. I mean, when your administration is so dumb and the president of the United States, with gas prices surging as he cut off our independent supply, as he's continued to inflate our economy with their policies, goes and starts blaming the oil companies for inflating gas prices. Well, Joe, when you cut off your own supply and you have to get it from somewhere else, just like everyone else, what do you think is going to happen? How stupid can you be? And you're the president of the United States. It's crazy.
Man.
Crazy.
That was a good rant.
You're so kind. Thank you.
That was solid. And most importantly, I'm glad that you went a long time because my mouth is still on fire, dude.
This guy, he's on stage. He can talk all night.
He could. My nose is running. My mouth is on fire. Those might be hot. Not medium.
Oh my!
They're not mild with an M. That's for sure. They might be wild wings from Bdubs.
Dude, so there is one 15 and a half miles away from me. I'm going to get some this weekend.
To try it?
Yeah.
Because you just want to see how much of a wuss I am right now and how much I'm complaining to the audience. And like,
you don't like spicy foods? I do.
Yeah.
So, and some people don't like spicy foods. Your DNA is a different tolerance for it.
Yeah. Holy cow, dude. I'm like, my mind, everything's on fire right now.
So after,
question. I do have a question for you though. Like you said, the stuff about Biden and the supply chain and like just the supply chain regarding inflation on the pricing of gas. He doesn't seem to be necessarily all there. But do you think that there's a larger agenda? Because I do feel like
there's always a larger agenda.
I do feel like he is not cognitively all there. I think a lot of people feel that way. I think some people do it as a punchline to a joke because that's just what we do. We make fun of the presidents of the United States, whether it's on SNL or any other, program. But there is a large group of people, I think, that are concerned that the president of the United States of America is cognitively not all there. And he's just reading, and it's been proven, I think we've had that clip somewhere where he's reading the teleprompter and he just reads the prompts, not just the
yeah, he says,
supposed to read. He's
end of quote.
End of quote. And you're like, oh, dude, like, are you really not all there enough to? And that's a true sign that, like, wow, the stress of that position, the magnitude of everything, so it can get to you. And he's just not there, dude. And so, really, who's pulling the strings behind everything? And I think the party's over because everybody seems to be wanting to retire from the Democratic Party. There's almost like, 25 people?
Yeah, there's a lot, and a lot of big names.
Yeah. So I think you're on to something there where, the supply and demand of the oil is just it's a great illustration that the Biden administration is not, they just have a different agenda, or they're just really that dumb.
Yeah. And it's just that thing that we've chatted about before is when you take something like gas and you raise the price of it, it affects the middle class and the lower class, because those are the people who are affected by rising prices of common items. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, anyone in the U.S. government isn't worried about that. Any millionaires and billionaires are not worried about the price of gas. They spend more gas flying on a jet plane than, in probably 10 minutes than we do a whole month in gasoline. So they don't care about those things. And it's perfect what you're saying, because there is a larger agenda. And it is, whether we can put our thumb on it or not, but it's to continue to divide the working class from the ruling class. Because when you put constraints like this out there for everyone, it doesn't affect the ruling class. It affects the working class.
Yeah, I think the division is their mainstay. That's almost like the agenda that they have going, is that they want to divide and conquer. And the evidence is overwhelming. I mean, look at almost everything that comes down the pipe is designed to divide people and put them on one side or the other, right?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. I mean, speaking of that, let's get back over to, we skipped last week where some pretty good information came out. Now we're back here. Everyone knows that Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty, which is fantastic.
Rightfully so, too. I mean, This is not hard. The whole world was privy. This is one of the things that's interesting now is video does not necessarily lie. Video can lie, but in this case, everybody saw the video evidence and was like, yeah, that is the definition of self-defense. Right? Am I wrong? No,
absolutely. And then, I mean, with this stuff too, you have our president of the United States during all of this and prior to it coming out and saying that this kid's a white supremacist with zero facts to back it up. So no, you're not. You're not wrong. Like, the evidence is there. And then you have our president clearly doesn't care about the evidence. Either does the leftist mob.
But how much is Biden just a parrot repeating what people are telling him to say? Because parrots don't think. Parrots like a parrot, like the bird. They just repeat, right? They heard you say something. He's a white supremacist. You know.
I almost feel like Biden has these moments of mental breakdowns that no one sees or hears about. Because we all know old people in our life, and you've seen videos of them where, especially those with dementia and Alzheimer's, they like freak out and have these mental breakdowns when you're forcing them to do something. And I got to believe that that's why they put a lid on him so many days, is because he's probably sitting there like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Let me just go live my life on the beach in Delaware and not worry about any of this stuff. Like, stop forcing me to do these things. I got to believe that that's what's going on, because that's almost kind of, I mean, you got to believe it based on what happens.
You know,
it's
dude,
so
you just
sad and disheartening.
They're going to get sued so bad by Kyle Rittenhouse and his estate, if you will. I mean, I saw a great thing with the,
He's going to be set for life.
The kid, what, Sandman, that, you know, sued CNN, got hundreds of millions of dollars. And then it's got Kyle Rittenhouse and he goes, hey, hold my beer.
Yeah.
About to take them to task. He's about to sue the president of the United States, which I don't know if you can. I mean, is Biden at fault? But that's kind of like someone suing Trump, you know, while he's the sitting president of the United States. Like, all right, dude. Like, he has the power to.
He's like, I'll pardon myself.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great life. I did it. Pardoned. White supremacist.
Dude,
anyway,
this just you know, speaking of some of this and kind of going along with the rant, you know, let's jump into this for a minute. Let's chat about how crazy the leftist mob is and talk about this Christmas parade guy.
Dude.
So I was reading end of this if you read a CNN post or a New York Post article, it says an SUV crashed into a group of people at a Christmas parade. It doesn't even talk about the guy's name. An SUV didn't do anything. Just like guns don't kill people. Somebody's got to be there to pull the trigger. This guy killed 6 people and injured 60 more.
Jeez.
So 66 people, the last that I knew, were killed or injured. And they said that an SUV ran into a crowd. No, this guy's a career criminal.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where are they telling the truth? Yeah, the guy drove an SUV or a minivan or whatever you want to call it, like, into a crowd. And if that's your level of reporting, then shame on you.
Right.
Because we got to start finding common ground. We have to start bridging. We cannot continue to allow the people with the agenda to divide us and segment us into all these little fiefdoms. You know, it's like, oh, well, if you're on the left and maybe you support public schools or public education, because that's primarily a leftist position, although the right is actually very much in favor of that as well, the education, and has become a talking point. But traditionally, you know, if you're a leftist, you're like public education, unions, etc. But then if you take that route, well, then all of a sudden too, you have to be for, you know, gay rights and wokeness,
right? You have to
all
be.
these other topics. You have to be. There's no other option, and they're splitting you into all these little groups. And same thing on the right, where like, well, hey, if I love the Second Amendment, then I have to also now be pro-life. I'm not allowed to be pro-choice
and pro-police force and pro-police. Every single police officer.
It's all or nothing with these people, and they're putting you in all these camps. And that's the problem, is people don't fit into these camps. Everybody prioritizes things very differently and what's important to them. So, dude, I just don't know. I think we got to find people and leaders who are going to step up and start leading the way and bringing people actually together and unifying on the things that we matter, like we all agree on.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
everybody should have the right to chase their dreams. Like that's that life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, and there's just so many things that occur with this. Like, I don't think anyone, it wasn't gonna be a story. No one cares that it was a black guy who was driving this SUV and ran into a crowd full of people. It had nothing to do with that. It's the fact that he's a career criminal. So that's such a great point, what you said with the division, and stop, letting them put us into these camps. But it's also on them too, that if you're that person who's in that position, take a stand. Stop allowing whoever you work for or where you are, especially if it's a media outlet, to do things like that, because it's going to continue to create division. And
but that's what sells. That's what gets clicks.
That is what sells.
That's what, and it's interesting because, obviously we run a podcast and we have, flashy headlines.
We are cool podcasting.
We are the podcast. But we do. We have, like all our cool titles, for our shows. And I mean, what was probably my favorite one was Finger Licking Trigger Happy, or I forgot what the one was from a few weeks ago, but Hypochondriac Pussycats or something like that. What was that one? That was awesome.
Yeah, something hypochondriacal Pussycats, or
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that was it.
I mean, those are like, wow, those are really flashy titles, and like we're hoping that people click on the link and listen to us and listen to the rant, and we want to get people behind us and doing things. But at the end of the day, too, I think if people listen to us long enough, they would understand that we're actually trying to bridge the gap. We want to understand how other people are thinking so that we can find the commonality, in the what makes us American, I guess.
Yeah, and part of those good things is, Mr. Producer, if you could cue this video here. This was something I saw on Facebook the other day, and I just want to take this moment and help put it into perspective of this. This was an officer that was shot by a suspect in 2016. And as it's playing, I want you to think to yourself, if you're watching it, at what point was he supposed to pull the trigger? At what point would you have pulled the trigger before he got shot? Because he never pulled the trigger.
Yep, exactly.
Because he was a white officer approaching a black man. Mr. Producer.
Stop! Take your hands out your pocket.
And he's continually asking him to stop.
If you don't stop,
he's got his hands in his pocket.
I'm not playing with you. Take your hands out your pocket. Take your hands out your pocket. Take your hands out your pocket.
Oh my God! Like, what is he supposed to? I mean,
the moment he takes his hand out of his pocket, he shoots him. Thank God he made a full recovery. But these aren't things that we don't hear about. And again, this has nothing to do with race. It's just a video that's there. But what would you do? Oh, no, it was a black officer. I'm sorry. It was a black officer.
Yep.
So what? He doesn't matter, or because he's a black officer and it doesn't support your agenda? The leftist mob agenda of those things, right? At what point as a human being would you have hit him with a taser? It's a taser. The moment that he didn't take his hand out of the pocket, if I'm an officer and I ask him to, if he's concealing anything, I think I would tase him. I'm not giving him the opportunity to remove his hand like that.
Yep. I think one of the biggest things that my takeaway from that was, here you got a guy who has, we as a community have chosen that the people that we hire as police officers to help maintain peace and funnel through our justice system. He's giving a command: take your hand out of your pocket. Stop walking away from me. And that person willfully ignored the directives of an authority. That the community, not an authority that was put there by force, that's not a dictator force that's there doing everything. We as a community have agreed to pay taxes and pay the salaries of those officers that we have in the blue around us. And so that we grant them, the community grants them the authority. That's what the badge gives them, the authority. And the blatant disregard for that is what is disturbing the most to me.
What do you think about, like, where does that start, right? Where does that start? How do we teach people to be better in that regard, Chris?
I mean, this is where it comes back to the family unit and oh God, I've had a lot of conversations today because I'm going to mention this, but yesterday in Oxford, Michigan, there was a 15-year-old who decided to take a gun and shoot some students. And another just casualty. And so it's in line with the same thing we're talking about, that you wonder what went wrong. How are you 15 and you're so angry in the world, or the adults that are around you, the society that we've built? How are we failing these people that they feel so desperate? They feel, so alone. And maybe it's just because we don't tell each other. I was talking to one of my good friends, Marks Elias, which Marks, good dude. And we just came down to, it's because we're a broken society. We've stopped loving one another. We've stopped treating each other with compassion. And whether that's the fault of a capitalistic society where, it's every man for himself and you got to build profits, and you got to you put profits over people. There's an argument that could be for that. But I don't know, man. I don't know where we stop saying I love you to people around us. And I just wanted to call, a lot of people today, people are close to me, and just say, I love you. Because it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're spot on with that. That all comes back to the family unit. And I think part of it comes back to just people not wanting to take responsibility for things in their life. I had a conversation with someone today about similar things to that. I won't jump into it, but when we parted ways, my overwhelming thought was like, wow, things happen in people's lives, and the first thing they do is they look to blame others. They look to hurt others because of whatever happens in their life. And that's typically because they don't have an outlet, or they haven't been taught how to pursue outlets to seek help and to accept responsibility. Whether this kid was bullied or not, that's kind of often the things we hear with stuff like this. Even the kids who are the bullies, some of that is on the parents too, as they're growing up, to help to teach them that those aren't correct things to do. But it's also on the parents of those who get bullied to teach them to, this is going to be your first test and battle in life. Because if you're that parent, and I don't know how that kid's parents are feeling, but I gotta imagine they're sitting back thinking, at least I hope they are, like, where did we go wrong? What could we have done better? And maybe there's nothing. I don't know. But
yeah,
I hope that things like that have at least crossed their mind, because if you never ask yourself questions like that, you never get better. You never improve.
I think one of the challenges is that unfortunately in this world, sometimes there's just flat evil that's with us, and there is no explanation. And while that is incredibly disheartening, the reality is there just isn't. I mean, because you think about like justice, right? We talk about that a lot on our show. We've talked a lot about court cases. We've talked about scenarios. We talk about justice. How, even if, you know, it was capital punishment, which we don't have that in the state of Michigan, we don't have capital punishment. But even if it was, and we went eye for eye, and this person's found guilty, and you kill a 15-year-old for killing other people, does the parents, do they feel justified? Because nothing's going to bring their kid back. So and I'm trying to equate it to myself. Like, if that happened, my niece happens to be 17 years old. And there would be nothing that anyone could say to me or, you know, console me or anything that would bring justice. Right? So I don't think it's of this earth. I don't think the justice exists for something of this tragic nature.
Right. And the only answer, you're right, is love.
And that's the only thing that's left.
Yeah. And it's not one of those corny things like the leftist mob likes to throw out, right? Like, oh, love is love. No, this is this is a different kind of love. You know, as we look back into the Greek and the Latin, there's 4 different types of love, right? There's a godly type of love, there's a brotherly type of love, there's a familial type of love, and then there's a physical type of love. And I wish it was things like this that are taught more in school, because there's just a gross misunderstanding, I think, of what love is. You know, the physical type, there is a lustful type of love, which is not related to the other 3. It's purely from a physical attraction or a physical point of view, right? And then there's there's a familial type of love, familial, however you say it, like your family, and that love is, well, you know, you were born into a family, and that's your family.
Yeah, I love my sister.
Blood is right. Yeah. Blood is blood. And then there's a brotherly love, like what we have between friends and between people like us on the show and stuff. Is there's that brotherly type of love that you go through things together. You meet people throughout life. You become friends, and those are the bonds that are attracted. And then there's a godly type of love, agape love, which is, you know, for us who believe in Christianity and the Bible, the agape type of love, which, you know, it's just like when people do things in life, we sin every day, and it pushes us further and further away from God's heart, except for agape love. And having that understanding, or, you know, and the only reason I'm saying this is because we've gone so far from the Christianity views. There's nothing bad about Christianity. Christianity has not divided anyone ever in this life. Like what Jesus taught, there's nothing bad about what Jesus taught. Nothing bad. And the more we get away from this godly type of love, the more we see things like this happens, because we get further and further away from it as a society every day and every year, and more things like this continue to happen. But what if everyone understood this and looked at everyone with an agape type of love that says, you know, no matter what you do, I forgive you. I'll love you through it. I don't agree with what you did, but I'll love you through it on a small scale, right? On a small scale, even.
Yeah, I mean, the best example I ever saw that, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but I remember, I think it was in Texas. There was a situation where somebody shot a brother or something. You know, do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I
Do you
think
remember
so,
this?
yeah.
And there was the trial, and they just, the person who had pulled the trigger broke down in tears, and the victim's brother just said, "Hey, can I go give her a hug?" Or, whatever it was, and
Yeah.
he embraced. And I mean, that was honestly, I'm not sure I could do that. I don't think you have to do that, but I do think you need to check the anger and, just know that at the end of the day, you're right. This is a time when, especially this time of year, I think we need to just be a little bit more, I would say be a little bit more compassionate to your neighbor, to the people around you, to your coworkers. Yeah, you're striving. Maybe somebody's trying to get a raise, or maybe they do things you don't like. But why don't you just talk to them?
Right.
See how they're doing. Take an interest in their life. Doesn't mean you got to agree with everything. We're different. We're all different. So, yeah, it's just been a long day, man. But I think at the end of the day, what we do here on this show and what we talk about, the building the family unit, I think we got to get back to that. I think we need to support our families and support our friends. And I know there's a lot of outpouring for, the people and the victims and this tragedy in Oxford. That's pretty close to my house. So, yeah.
And there was I'm going to switch up the wholesome story because I think this fits good in here. There was CNN tweeted out something the other day for a guy who it was a teacher. I don't know exactly where, but he was battling cancer and he ran out of sick days. So other school employees gave up their sick days to help him out. And it's just things like that not only need to happen more often, because honestly, I think they do. We just don't hear about it. We don't hear about those things happening more often. That is not the primary focus of our media, because fear sells.
It does. And in this case, when CNN put that out, I love what's underneath it with Will Fisher. This guy, at Will_C_Fisher says, what if, hear me out, we didn't have a system that required a person battling cancer to rely on the generosity of their colleagues for sick days? What if we had actual real leadership in this situation where somebody had a filter and said, what can we do for you? You've been given to the community. You're a teacher. You're an educator. You've helped shape and mold minds for our future, for the contributors in our society. And you're now have a diagnosis of cancer. Instead of being like, hey, sorry, you only get 3 weeks of vacation. You're out after 21 days. That's sorry. Instead of that, why don't we just say, why don't we help one another? Why don't we actually be a real leader and say, we got to rally around, this individual, this teacher, this person. And you know what? It doesn't even have to be a teacher. Like, damn it, that's the point. It doesn't have to be somebody.
It could be anybody,
right?
Right?
If it was just anybody.
It was
like
the janitor.
It was the janitor. Exactly. Why can't we just have an understanding that, like, that stuff is real and those things affect real people?
Yeah, it kind of drives me crazy sometimes when I see some of this, and like, yeah, why don't we have real leadership, right? Because the system is not some inanimate thing. Like, we are the system, right? We make the system. The system didn't, it's not the Matrix. The system didn't create and then created us. We created the system.
Or
and yeah, ooh. And part of me kind of gets back to the point of, it's not your employer's job to take care of you. And I think so many people want to turn the blame towards them. It's yours and your community's job, and that's really what the goal of the church is, right? Is to step up in times like this. But at the same point, if you are part of the system, even though it's not your job to take care of someone, be a real leader. Like you said, I mean, no one can say that better themselves. Be a real leader and make it your job to take care of someone. And again,
lead with compassion.
Yeah. I mean, of course,
try that for once.
From an economical point of view, there's only so much you can do, and that's why it's so important for the people and the communities and the church and the body of Christ to step up and fill in those gaps, because that's what it's all about. We shouldn't be in this, not to get off on a tangent, but we shouldn't be in this welfare state, right? It should be one another taking that burden, real leadership, like you said, taking that burden upon themselves to help out those in need.
Here's what I'm thinking right now. The biggest thing that I can't stand is I feel like the government is forcing socialism, when what we really just need to do is come together and have voluntary socialism, which is through the churches.
Be forced to help one another.
I don't want the government to take 48% of my income, and then I don't have any control. But if you don't want that, then what we really need to decide is what kind of country do we want to be, and let's get a little bit more benevolent. And not to say that America isn't benevolent. We really are. We're one of the best countries in the entire world.
Oh, yeah.
At that. But you know what I can't stand either? I can't stand when people are like, hey, actually, one of my biggest pet peeves, Chad, and I don't think I've ever said this before, but one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see somebody who's recording a video of them going and getting food and handing it to a homeless person.
Right. That's the most humble brag.
Dude, I absolutely cannot stand it. It's like, you know what? You're walking up on a situation where this person is clearly in need and has to take the meal because they need it, but you've got a camera rolling right in their face. Like, hey man, how's it going? We're here for you. And, Jesus loves you. And it's like, you know what? Bullshit. That is bullshit. And you've never met Jesus. That's a fact. Because that's not how it works.
Yeah. And
you're not helping that person.
I could even interject into this and just be like, look,
let's get it.
At the end of the day, it's like, and I have this thought, and maybe it's a little bit of a depressing thought, but there is no such thing as a selfless act. Because at the end of the day, everybody does something for some form of personal gain in one way or another, whether consciously or subconsciously. And I think that that's a very unfortunate situation that we're in with that. You think about it, someone's like, hey, you know what? I'm not expecting anything in return. Okay, but maybe not right now. What are you, are you, even if you want to lay it down to, oh, I'm just laying the groundwork for good karma or whatever that might be. You know what I mean? Like, there's always some kind of thing, too, where I feel like I feel like there is no such thing as completely unselfish acts. But I think that there can be unselfish motives, and I think that's what a lot of people really need to work towards doing. And like you said, people who are like, oh, I'm gonna put this on Facebook, me giving a meal to someone. It's like, look, you're just trying to get likes. Like, no one cares. Have you ever thought about just doing something for someone just because? Like, have you ever thought about that? Just, how about this? Have you ever been in a position where you're sitting at a grocery store, right? You're behind a family who they're trying to pay for their groceries and their card keeps declining. Have you ever just walked up behind them, swiped your card, and said, "Hope you have a great day," and walked away? That's it.
I've never had the opportunity, but I mean, I certainly wouldn't pull out my phone and be like, "Hey, I got you," but hold on. What's your name? How's it going?
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, I'm going to grab my phone here and be like, hey, hey guys, I'm live on Facebook right now.
Yeah.
And this couple in front of me is having a hard time paying the bill. Yeah. And instead of me getting agitated about it, you know, I'm being mad that they're taking up all my time and like slowing down the line, I'm just going to pay for it and watch what happens.
Yeah, like,
get out of here.
Be quiet. I'm sneaking up on him right now. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to tap and walk away.
Come on,
man. I've actually thought about, Matt, I've thought about that quite a bit, what you said, and I've talked with different people about it. And I think, like you said, when you look at it from the point of starting with unselfish motives, you know, to a certain point, you can argue that everyone will you're always going to get something out of it, right? Because there's that moment of it makes you feel good inside when you do it. So you're always going to get something out of it. And it was posed in a college course that I had. The professor asked, he's like, well, you know, what about when a soldier jumps on a grenade for his peers? That split-second moment. Does he get anything out of that? Because he knows he's going to die, and that's it. Like, is that a selfless act? Because he's still doing it because he's doing it for his brothers, right? He's doing it for love. And I think, again, the point you made about the unselfish motive that he had behind jumping on that grenade is what is like the kicker there, right? Because he's doing it, even though he's getting something out of it at some point, he knows what the end game's going to be. And he knows that he's losing because of it, but he's protecting everyone else. But yeah, I'm with you. When someone pulls out a phone and does stuff like that, is that a humble brag?
Yeah.
It's not even a humble brag.
No,
it's just a dick move. That's what it is.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
because here's the reality is that person who is in need has self-image problems. They probably don't feel that awesome about themselves. They're struggling. They're, you know, needing everything. And here you are highlighting that fact. And like, you're not raising their self-image. You're not helping them. You didn't improve their life today. You did not do anything. In fact, it actually probably has more damaging because, yeah, you gave them food, but then you just demoralize them even further.
Right. I mean, even in the Bible, I don't know exactly what verse it is, but Jesus talks about do good things, not so others can see you. Do it in private.
Yeah. Don't let the right hand see what the left hand is doing.
Right. Just go and do it.
Just do it. And see, that's the thing. But we don't have that. And to Matt's point, you know, people are so damn selfish that they can't even get past that to their motives. And they're just confused. And maybe that's what it is the world is so confused. And the messaging and the systems that have been built over the years to develop confusion about who we are and how we could be collectively as a group of humans and the great things we can do. We have our moments. We have, you know, breakthroughs and things like that, really smart people amongst us. And yet I would argue that the overall sadness of the world is pretty high. It needs to change.
It is.
We got to do something about it. Maybe it's just by doing this podcast.
I feel like we need a commercial break to segue into our next topic now.
I mean, we already did Arby's and I barely can talk now. So
is it still kicking you in the pants, the Arby's there?
Dude, it's come down. Like I downed this whole shake though. Like,
Dude,
so
I
like
can
that was
see
gone.
I wonder if it's going to
The
be as hot
rants-
coming out as it was going in.
Oh, I don't know. I'll let you know next. We'll let you know next week how that goes. But I did actually just crack a couple Tums.
Oh man!
Wow. So I was like, I had these queued up and like, oh, these are way hot. This is going to leave some serious damage. In
The heartburn is real.
It's a legit thing. So, hey, dude, why don't we wrap up this show with just talking about something a little bit more light, like the college football shakeup in the world? What do you think?
Dude, it's almost like you read my mind.
We're becoming one. You know why, Chad? Because we are the podcast.
Do it. Do it. It's one of my favorite lines ever from Palps. Do it.
Strike
Yeah.
down.
College football, baby. Michigan
Hey, it's your
Wolverines.
school. You're the fan. You're the fan. Talk about it.
Went to
man.
Michigan,
It's your time to shine.
albeit a satellite campus, but I still went to Michigan. Finally beat
Fantastic.
Ohio State. Had to avenge little brother who beat our ass earlier in the year, right?
It's a good family whooping.
Yeah, at least someone took out Ohio State, finally.
Amen.
They didn't just take out Ohio State, they manhandled Ohio State.
Yeah, this was not a last minute win, or they squeezed it out, or there was a controversial like first down that ended the game. Okay.
Yeah.
You were short, bro.
Dude, that first drive of the second half, I'm like, wow, Michigan just ran the ball down their throats. I'm like, let's see if they do it again. They get the ball back. Wow, they did it again. Man, if they do it a third time, I think they're going to seal the victory. Oh my God, they did it again. And then a fourth time.
They were unstoppable. It was, obviously I'm a Michigan State guy. And while it is exciting to have, we can say that we beat Michigan this year. We're the ones that, handed you the loss. Watching Michigan State get absolutely slaughtered at the hands of Ohio State in the horseshoe. I mean, you're talking 49-0 before people even sat down. Like they were still drunk coming into the stadium. And this was like, seriously, it was like 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then 49-0 by the end of the half. I was like, what just happened? Like, did State like trade out spots with the Lions? Like, what's going on here? But it was good to see Michigan. And being a State guy, I will tell you, congratulations. I am definitely pulling for the Wolverines in the Big Ten championship because I think they have a chance. I think they have a legitimate chance to play for a national championship. I don't know if they can win because I think they're going to end up having to play Georgia. But hey, that's why you play the game, right? That's why you get in there. You never know what can happen.
That's why you play the game. Yeah, and I mean, there are all sorts of stuff going on, right? Brian
and
Kelly,
then you got the schools that they're not in.
Lincoln
on it,
Riley.
So then they make changes because they all want to be where Michigan's at right now.
I'm so glad that Brian Kelly left because Notre Dame sucks. Care who you are. Worst football program in the country.
Notre Dame? You think so?
I hate Notre Dame.
Come on,
I hate
dude.
Notre Dame. They're so pompous and self-righteous that if you don't like Notre Dame, you're a loser. No, you
Because
guys are
they're
losers.
Catholic. Because
You
they're
lost Brian
Catholic.
Kelly, just like Joe Biden.
Touchdown, Jesus. Come on, man.
Touchdown,
Rudy.
Jesus.
Rudy, Aaron Parsegian, Dan Devine,
It's true.
Lou Holtz. I mean, there's a lot of legends that have gone through Notre Dame. Come on, man.
Rudy was a terrible movie, but a great story.
Come on, man.
A great story, which makes the movie okay, but it's a terrible movie. Just saying.
I don't even believe you right now.
What do you think about Brian Kelly leaving for Notre Dame or leaving Notre Dame to go to LSU?
I saw his press conference today, and probably the funniest thing is some reporter goes, "Hey, are you going to be straightforward, with LSU as you were with your Notre Dame players who found out you were leaving by text message?" And he's like, I'm up front with everybody. It's like, no, okay, no, you're not. Like, are you a politician now? Whatever.
Right, but then
but Chad, like, do you honestly believe that LSU is a better job than Notre Dame? Like, did I miss the memo? Because I mean, I appreciate LSU. They're in the SEC.
That's why it's a better job. That's why it's a better job.
That's it.
So there's historically, right? They say the South has a little better recruiting advantage. One, because it's more of a destination, right? People want to move to the South. Weather's better,
Right.
things like that. There's better football down there. People eat, live, and breathe football. So instead of moving a whole day away to go to Notre Dame or Michigan, you move a couple hours away and go to LSU. And then it is in the SEC, which is lauded as the best conference in football. So if you want to have the best shot at recruiting, the best shot at playing the best teams to leaving a legacy, well, then you go to LSU. But the thing about Notre Dame is they've always been able to buck that trend.
Right.
Because they can play whoever the heck they want.
Well, they're the
they're
independent.
But they're in the Big East now, right? Or I forget.
No, only not for football, just for basketball.
That's right. So they
but
can
I mean,
play
hey,
whoever they want.
I mean, even Oklahoma in the Big 12, you know, Riley bails on that, heads to USC.
Right, and goes to the Pac-10.
Pac-12, right? Pac-12.
I can't remember anymore because they're about to be gone anyway, allegedly.
They're about to be the Pac-9.5.
Yeah. But that's like the same thing, kind of, right? You leave the Big 12 to go to the Pac-12.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the only thing is you're going to from Oklahoma to Southern Cal. And yeah, it's like Hollywood, but
I don't want to go to California.
Why would you want to go to California?
No, I don't want to go to California.
Nobody wants to go to California.
That's not true. I want to go to California. Not for the politics, not for the cost of living or anything like that. Once the absolute dog shit politicians are out of there, yeah, I'll go back there. Absolutely. I would love to go there. California is beautiful.
Yeah, I don't mind going there.
The film industry's out there. Oh, see, I'd live there. If I could work in the film industry out there, yeah. As long as a 500 square foot apartment didn't cost me $5,000 a month, then yeah, we'll talk something,
Right.
Well, good luck.
yeah, exactly. And gas isn't $7 a gallon. Yeah.
Right. Well, look, here's their problem. Nancy Pelosi ran everything into the ground in San Francisco and in all of California, and now is going to retire, and she bought a place in Florida.
Yeah, no shit.
Really? I didn't hear that.
That makes so much sense.
So long, Sucktown. I'm out of here.
Oh my god.
I'm going to Florida.
All right, so
that's a
before we wrap this up here, I have one caveat for you talking about the conferences. Clemson football.
Yeah, ACC,
Florida State.
They were terrible this year. Florida State.
Yeah,
sucked.
they've been bad for a while, but ACC schools, right? They're not. I mean, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, those are all better football.
The Big 10 showed well this year. I think you can look at Ohio State, Michigan State, Iowa State. I think they would match up well with any conference.
Absolutely.
If they did if you did the basketball thing where you did the Big 10 ACC challenge, or we did the Big 10 SEC challenge, I'm going to take the Big 10 because maybe Georgia beats Michigan, but the Ohio State is going to crush somebody. Michigan State's going to crush somebody. Penn State's going to crush somebody. So, okay, yeah, maybe you have the best team in the SEC, but top to bottom total, it's kind of like being like third in DraftKings. You never win, but you're in third place.
But you're still going to smash somebody.
I'm smashing
somebody.
Yeah, dude. Hey,
That's good.
Good show, man. And appreciate your time as always. TA, Attack Helicopter, you're the man. Thanks for being with us. And thanks for jumping in this week. That was good stuff that you dropped.
Yeah.
Of course.
Excellent, Tiago.
I'm working on it. I
And
just got to find those instances where I feel like I have something to add to the conversation.
Yeah, I hope people, if you listen to this, go back to the section that Chad was talking about, the 4 types of love. That was some real knowledge, some real wisdom you were just ripping out there, and most people probably didn't catch that. So might need to listen to it a few times.
You could have done the same. I appreciate you.
My man. Until next week, my friend, Commander Whalls.
Commander Dayton, under his eye.
Peace be with you.
Yeah. Blessed be the fruits of our labor.
Go in grace.
See you guys.